Let's do it.
Bam. Well, thanks for that, Moritz. I don't know if you wanted to be on camera, but we are recording now, and we would plan to share this, later today with those who didn't make it live with us. So thanks again for tuning in. What's going on, Heather? How are you this morning?
So good. Just quite, I've been in a really quiet space, like really just feeling peaceful. I'm watching the swirl, but feeling peaceful.
We're really there. Does it feel, I know, Jason, you mentioned like the warm winds. Does it feel like we're in this like eye of the storm or like something?
Totally. Totally. It definitely feels like that. In fact, when the wind started kicking up last night, it was like, oh, what is going on? Just, yeah, come back to center.
I've been a DJ for 30 years, so I've always got songs in my head when I think of things or phrases, and I hear, take me to the magic of the moment on a stormy night. It's The Winds of Change by Scorpions.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
Winds of change are here, brother. The winds of change. Open your mind to change. That's what we're talking about, right?
Heck yeah. And what's that on your shirt? What do you got there? War.
It says the war is over. It's actually, you can't really see, but it's a timeline of where our galactic family, our UFO family, have come in. And it's interesting that now UFOs are mainstream, or UAWs as they call them. But they've always been here. But to the war is over, kind of, sort of.
It's a good day to wear that shirt, guys. I'll just say, like, it feels to me like it's almost like we've hit the precipice and a little bit of a downhill flow from here, and that's the vibes I feel. I see other people like feeling it, that we have won. I believe we have good guys in control, maybe even the divine will in control, because I don't see the dark powers having a lot of strength today from what I've seen.
Yeah. I think that, I think that's really true. I think that's a really good thing for us all to keep in mind as things, it's kind of like the mind and the body. The body has a process of catching up to the mind. And so whatever the thoughts are, the mind is, say this, this faction that has had control, whatever the, ride that we go on, for the body to catch up to the divine will being really enacted. It's like, we just got to keep that in our sights, that our emotions aren't called, pulled in, because it gets so intense. And sometimes we just need to remember, it's not always what our eyes see. We know that there's a plan being fulfilled through us.
I got an image in my head, you guys. I've got when a rock drops in the ocean or drops in a body of water, it takes a little while for the shore to feel the ripple, but the ripples happened. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like when the idea is love is one, God's plan is fulfilled. We're in time and space, and we're just in its demonstration, its revelation, it's revealing. Mm-hmm. But at levels of density and levels of dimensions, it feels like a little crazy, a little chaotic, but it is, at some level the war is over, and on some other level the war is just beginning, or at some level the war is just being seen. Of a war on consciousness, on the war on souls, on the war on the relationship to the divine or God, or whatever you want to call that, which really what 1111 really means for me, and has been for us, is that awakening to that God presence within you, as you, not outside of you. That's truly, in a nutshell. We'll probably say that a few times in this time, but that's really what, why it's tattooed on my thumbs, that sacred holy day. And it's good to be with you, Lionheart. It's good to be with you, Matthew, in this day, and our lives, how they weaved together for this day and the days that are coming. I believe that our souls know each other on very ancient levels.
Indeed. Right on. Thank you for that, Jason. Hey, I want to say hi to Jerry. Thanks for jumping on, Jerry.
Hey, thanks,
how
Matt.
appropriate that you would be the second one on. So Jason and Heather, they bought the first number 1 NFT. Jerry, thank you for participating and purchasing number 2.
Awesome.
It means a lot.
Cool.
Exactly. No, that's awesome. And I wore my
Superman
in the spirit of your Joker video, which so you could share those details if you want. But when I called you, I was dying to ask you about the Joker makeup, but I just I'm like, okay, because I was thinking Halloween, but I'm thinking Halloween's already passed. And then your kids were jumping in the video and they weren't like in costume. So I'm thinking it wasn't a kid's thing. So it was just eating at me, but I go, well, I'll ask them eventually. But
wow, good on you for riding that wave.
Well, yeah, the whole hookup and everything was really funny. Which Matt and I started talking and took a leap of faith with me. It's a whole ordeal to try to join in and support the 11/11, and so it was a bit of a journey over a couple of weeks to get to where I could, and it was just funny. And then we started talking, and then Matt and I, just this incredible connection of where we grew up. Or I'm still here, I haven't moved. Wow. But we went to the same high school.
Oh, that's right, Barham, right, in San Jose.
Branham, yeah.
Branham, that's right, Branham.
So
I'm from Del Mar, Jerry.
Oh my God, how funny!
1989, yeah.
Okay, so that's my brother's year. He graduated Branham '89. I graduated in '84, and Matt was kind enough to let me know that was the year he was born, so or around there. So I'm like, okay.
Right.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
But it's all good. It's just been a whirlwind, but very cool. So yeah, I'm happy to kind of be a part of it. And it was kind of funny because been doing a deep dive the last month when, because as soon as I saw that what you guys were planning on doing, I wanted to do it like right then. But it was no, like, if there would have been a credit card link or PayPal or Venmo, or no, I don't have Venmo, but whatever, I would have just done it instantly. Mm-hmm. But I had to go down this path of, okay, what the hell's a token, right? Here I'm in the finance mortgage business, and this whole world's intrigued me, this whole blockchain. There's so many different facets in this whole crypto world, and I'm not really even into video games, and my son's not into video games, but this whole cryptocurrency with the video game, it's just mind-boggling. It's just this whole world so I had to do a ramp up to speed, and it was like midnight, and I was trying to open an account. The FTX account was what I ended up opening first, because that was a link on there. And, that's over in London, which I had no idea. So I'm trying to open that. And then you have to identify yourself with the driver's license or some sort of form of ID. And it was like midnight, 12:30, 1 a.m. And then I'm trying to fund it, because you have to open an account, fund it, then buy the souls and get a wallet. And I didn't know what a week ago, the day before, you could have asked me what a soul or a wallet or digital anything, and I would have had an answer.
Can you clarify for those that are watching what buying souls means?
Well, it's SOLS. So we're going to definitely clarify that. Solana. Yes, the Solana, those tokens, I guess you would call them. But it's a whole world unto itself. These blockchain just create these universes of just unlimited things that they could do, and I truly believe they'll just revolutionize everything. And that's what originally, and it's crazy, 10 years now, not even 10 years, early teens, my daughter was in high school, that I was reading about Bitcoin, and being in the mortgage business, the financial world, fairly knowledgeable how the Federal Reserve works and central banking and incredible corruption. So that's where I resonated a lot of the things with Martin was writing about, and just things that are happening. But I talked to my financial guy, which I'm no longer using, but I wanted to buy Bitcoin back then. And he says, no, he explained it to me, but he explained it wrong. He was 100% wrong. So I ended up not. So I was doing the math, like 50 grand back then is like $6 billion right now in Bitcoin. But it wasn't meant to be, obviously. So, but it's just been a journey. But anyway, so I ended up getting the tokens, but I'm trying to fund it with a credit card. Of course, the credit card company's calling me thinking it's fraud. In the back, and then I'm trying not to wake my wife up. I'm trying to upload the driver, driver license. So I ended up getting it done, but it took quite a while to get to that point. And then when I talked to Matt, we wanted to use Coinbase, a different exchange, which was good because it was good that I have that. And then open a wallet and do all that. So we really, it's a journey. We're not quite 100%, but it's been opening a whole world of that, all that just amazing part of the financial world or just world in general, because it's going to bypass just the embedded hundreds and hundreds, if not 1,000 years of corruption that this banking system's created. And people don't even realize that. They think like the Federal Reserve's a government entity, and it's not. It's just insane. And
just the big bullies of King John and Robin Hood phrasing.
Right, definitely a learning curve. I love that, because when we we have a son that has been very involved in crypto for a good 10 years now and has been trying to educate us for a long time. And we've gleaned things here and there, but this last year, when everything kind of shifted, we really, took it upon ourselves to learn kind of.
We're 1 minute away from 11/11, by the way.
Nice.
I cannot, it's like a countdown to the new year. Like
it is.
Exactly.
I did, Steven, our buyer number 3, said he was about to jump on.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, he said he had another call. Dang it.
Okay.
And I thought it was noon, so I had to scramble, thinking I had more time, and then I figured I'd come down to the office and take the call, even though technically closed, but it matters for me. But cool.
Well, I just honor you, Jerry, just for crash coursing and saying yes to the journey, and just listening to that inner voice within you. Obviously that is saying, what, I need to expand my discomfort, my uncomfortability with things I don't know, because that's really what we're going to need to do in this new paradigm is usher people in.
No, I really believe that, and something you were resonating, because I learned on Twitter, Martin, in really like December of 2017. And that's where those first handful of Q drops just hit me like a ton of bricks, where it just resonated, all just calling out all the corruption and the same old that's been going on. And then you just start going down that rabbit hole. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I was going to ask you if that's what that meant, because I thought that's what it meant.
Same old.
That's the original.
That's where I resonated. Oh, wow. Okay. So you created that's your work, or?
Yeah. I made this in 2011. Oh my gosh. I almost forgot. 2011 this got made. I just had to paint something in all red. That was the first impulse.
Wow.
I wanted to paint something in all red, and obviously it was going to be directed towards the political media system.
Wow.
And I just kind of charcoaled it out, and then just did a loose kind of charcoal drawing, and then painted it with the red the best quality red paint that I bought, the most expensive red paint I could, and painted it on stretched canvas. So that was was in anticipation of the Obama Romney election, right? So it was just same old.
Right.
Same old.
Okay.
And
Exactly. So that was kind of my introduction, and reading that. Then when his book came out, I bought 4 copies right out of the bat from Amazon. I have one. I could probably find the second. I know I gave 2 away. And then but it's just watching his journey is just been crazy, just being denied the ability to earn a living, censorship, and just absolutely bold-faced censorship where there's no justification for it at all. They don't even feel like they need to give him an answer. And here Barnes and Noble just yanked the book, and then and the book is incredibly eye-opening. There's nothing, on the one hand, there's nothing like, how can that be banned, right? There's just somebody speaking his mind about what he sees and all that. So obviously, it just speaks to it. There's a web behind the scenes that doesn't want anyone even talking about certain topics. And it's just mind-boggling to me that this could be allowed, and there's not a there's more and more outrage, but most people just kind of go about day to day and just don't look beyond what the next TV show is or whatever, and have no idea what's really happening. So it's just crazy.
Thank you for voicing all that, Jerry. And already inevitably you guys are I think this 1111 group, whoever fills it out, will be some of my favorite people for all time. So, so I just appreciate it so much. And yeah, I mean, I would think it's been shocking to see more people not feeling the way you just described, Jerry. I mean, it's pretty intuitive at this point. When it's on your radar, you're like, well, that's wrong. What else do you really need to know? But
no, exactly. And then in business too, you got to just be, I mean, obviously, where I live, so it's probably the majority of me as far as politics and everything. So we moved offices and stuff, so I've been kind of temporary for the last year and a half, in a business center. But right on Camden and Lee, you probably know the location right there. But I used to have in my office, I still have a big picture of Ronald Reagan with Princess Diana, Prince Charles, and Nancy when they visited the White House. And that was just like my litmus test, because if somebody said, oh, that was like, if someone came in and, when I met clients, which I don't meet that many in person anymore, but when I used to meet them all the time, if Reagan resonated with them, or if they said something, so on the surface, it was kind of an innocent picture because of, the royal, Diana and stuff, immensely popular. But if they said anything, that was like the tip off. If I knew, either to stay clear, or you kind of a way to read where they were at, which was kind of funny that it evolved that way. It didn't plan it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I found out on Monday? We were with about 4,000 amazing souls in downtown Los Angeles for a Freedom from Tyranny rally. And we had two women who had the birthday. They said their birthday was May 29th.
Yep.
2/9, that's an 11, right? And I thought, let me look up what happened on May 29th. And the most significant thing on May 29th is the birthday of the man behind you, Matthew. JFK was born on the 29th.
Ah, wow.
Just another 11 is
both of them, just out of the blue. They had just met that day too.
Yeah.
So wild.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because just the whole synchronicity of numbers and things. So 11:11, Matthew 11:11 scripture, I had that, and I was going to try to cut and paste it and all that too. And I was trying to read it, and I was hoping it would really be blatantly sink into what we're doing, but it was biblical scripture, but it wasn't. I forget what it was about. But it was funny that I go, oh my God, if Matthew 11:11. Yeah.
Right.
I was really
wow. Yeah.
I was dying with anticipation to figure out what that was.
I wonder what Kings 11 and First Kings 11:11 would say.
Funny.
Yeah, that wouldn't be appropriate. It says among them that are born of, well, yeah, it was about John the Baptist.
Born of water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to help some other people get in here. It looks like they were having trouble, and I'm just giving them the link with the passcode again. And would like to see Martin on here, of course. I have not heard from him today. We talked about doing this a week ago. And anyways, prayers for Martin. I know he's been...
Yeah, definitely.
I know he's been at war a long time. So whether he shows up here today or not, I mean, I was hoping he would. He said, I saw in his Telegram that he was planning on being here a couple days ago. But I just know he told me 2 days ago that he was not feeling good, ringing in his ears and things like that. And just so anyhow, we'll see if he can tune in. But well, this is, I'll just say this. I think this is the first of many. Like, I know today's 11/11/2021. We got 11/11 that hits twice a day. Jason and Heather, I know you guys used to years ago already did 11/11 broadcasts. That's how synchronous this is. So I'm thinking we'll probably kick off quite possibly. I don't know the exact frequency. Maybe I'll just make a daily habit of going live at 11/11. I don't know what it is yet, but we just got to keep plowing, because I'll just speak. I was hoping Martin would speak on this when he got on, but we do have intentions to go bigger. I mean, $1 million is just a starting point. And this NFT route is really, fun and exciting for me as a visual artist. I think in terms of getting to $1 billion book after we complete this first major milestone, that to me involves, basically equities and real like ownership and being able to receive dividends by, you know, co-owning some intellectual property together is kind of how I am understanding it now. And I know Martin has maybe a slightly, just a, you know, expertise on a different angle than I do. So
right.
I was going to ask him about that, but yeah, that's kind of the idea. And yeah, did anyone
tell
else?
us a little bit, how did this get birthed, Matthew?
Between
I mean,
you guys, yeah.
we know a little bit about, you know, you came across Martin's work, you were familiar, and you just, you know, volunteered your heart and time to support him and his work. And how did this journey to this 1111 for change really come forth?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, great question. I discovered Martin on Twitter as well. Forget a couple years ago. He was one of my favorite tweeters, if you will. And I read his book. I ordered a few myself in the print. Well, I offered to do the cover for him pro bono, so that's what happened. I said, "Hey, you need some visual help," because his work was so iconic on a written side. I was like, "Okay, it needs visuals, or at least a cover." So we did that.
Right.
And
here's
then,
the cover, by the way.
Yes.
Right.
There it is.
So good.
Very cool.
It warms my heart. It warmed my heart to see Robert David Steele holding it up in quite a few videos as well before his passing.
Oh, right.
Rest in peace, RDS. But yeah, at one point I offered, you know, after he was censored, you know, like the book went bestseller on Amazon Christmas Eve 2020 in its category, and it was censored on the 29th of April, I believe.
Right.
And so I knew we had to do something, and here I am just kind of already getting my NFT game plan on, and it's just like, yeah, like let's get, it looks like these NFTs aren't going to be censored. And so I proposed that we do something with Martin, and then I think he had the noodles going as well. I think he was aware of the NFT phenomenon, so he was very receptive. And within a few weeks, he was like, well, I already sold 2 of these books at an exponential pricing strategy, so let's continue it. And he had 9 books in his hand initially, and so he said, you know, we'll do 9. It was going to be a set of 9. And if you can imagine this, one of these days where I was working on the art all day, I get my screenshot at 11:11 p.m. I'm going to bed, and I'm like, another 11:11. It's the 3rd night in a row. I see 11:11. Get the screenshot. I'm working on the project, and then Martin calls me, you know, and he's like, hey, let's make it actually 11 instead of 9. He's like, I could steal, you know, two more books from somebody I gave him to, or something if he needed. But he knew that 11 was like the number, you know, and it's a very special number. This day is a special day. Certainly the powers that be have known this. They've been using it against us. The whole idea was to use it for us this time around. And so that's kind of how we got to 11:11, nonstop 11:11 synchronicity. Martin telling me it was at 11:20 when he called, just 9 minutes after my 11:11 sighting.
Wow.
So anyways.
Well, that's interesting.
That's
9
amazing.
minutes. It was supposed to be 9,
right.
and then it was 9 minutes, and there was a 9. And so for me, the 11:11 came about because 9/11, because of 9/11/2001,
Right.
when those 2 towers, which just happened to look like an 11.
Right.
Went down, and something significantly, I truly believe there was a pulse that hit the planet, you know, to cause a series of events to help humanity wake up. And some people believe it could be, you know, it's a code from our future selves going into our past self, you know, it goes different places. And because of that, you know, 2001, when I started waking up after that,
right,
you know,
same for
that
me.
journey has led to where we are today. So those 2 numbers are significant with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Amen to that. And check this out about our project, also sort of synchronous, not exactly planned. We have 9. We'll have 9 NFTs on Algorand and 2 of them on Solana. So we have the numbers.
Wow.
2 souls and 9 algos.
Wow, that's amazing.
So and it was kind of crazy because I was minting them on Solana. I was, it was already like an internal struggle, like which blockchain, and because welcome Stacy, by the way. We wanted to welcome everyone who's here. I'll just finish this thought and then welcome Corinne.
Hi, Beauty. Hello.
Thanks for joining in. Anyways, what was I about to say? Oh, regarding minting on Solana, we got a company called Soul Forms. We got a community called Soul Community. I was like, I got to give Solana a try. So, and it had done really well. It's it's in the top 10 blockchains. And so I was doing it, and literally I just hit a wall at number 3 where it just would not let me mint the third NFT. I kept getting some errors, reached out for help, and I was like, all right, I think Algorand's probably the better blockchain anyways, maybe. So we just made the call to make the switch. And so anyways, it's all sort of just interesting how the universe just keeps giving you signs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I feel guided to do, Matthew, is, again, this is something that we're going to share with our audience and members and family, those to really make aware of what this is, this 1111 for change that is partnering up with Matthew and Martin's work in the world, Matthew's NFTs and Martin's book, Open Your Mind to Change, a guidebook to the Great Awakening. But I think it'd be important for those, because Martin's not with us today, and maybe he'll be able to join us a little bit, but to really explain who Martin Geddes is, because some people just don't know who he is. And I'll just read on the back of the book. First of all, we mentioned Robert David Steele, who's passed on. He said, he did the foreword of this book. He said, absolutely essential reading for every person of conscience on the earth.
Right.
So that's not a good statement. But Martin, it became a central figure in the Great Awakening by questioning the narratives of government and mainstream media. There was widely circulated essays. He details the issues of our time, showing how our, quote, reality has been endlessly, quote, hacked to divide us against each other. Geddes believes that as our worldview realign, our conflicts will subside. This book is a collection of his most important writings from October 2017 to November 2020. This was originally published online. And really, this book is for anyone seeking an understanding of the covert war being fought and the nature of the psychopathic culture that will be defeated by the valiant efforts of we the people, and the we the people that put people in power truly for the people.
Yes, it's so auspicious too that here we are on 11/11 and it's Veterans Day. We had this conversation that was unfolding in our thread, our Soul Signal thread earlier about, I think we're all here because we're holding a higher vision that war is not necessary any longer. And so just what that said was so perfect, that as we've come into alignment with that divine self, that higher aspect of ourselves, the war inside of us falls away. The war that we keep perpetuating in the world just continues to subside. We become the peace bringers, peacekeepers.
And healing that can't happen until you isolate the problem. Sometimes, in the healing, any kind of diseased body system, whether it be a plant, a body, or anything, you can't go on maintaining coherency in the system in a healthy, harmonic way until the discord, the dis-ease is found. And so that's like, once we spot it within and without, because it's happening within each one of us. And that's the kind of work that Heather and I do in our work in the world, is to help people come into peace and harmony in the relationship. Until we have harmony and peace in the relationship, we can't have harmony and peace in the world. I think it was a Roman, Marcus Aurelius. I think he talked about that. I think, could be wrong, but
he's got a lot of great quotes.
Love that guy.
Welcome everybody who's here. We got a few more. Welcome Robert and Reiner. I'll just introduce you guys here. We have Jason and Heather, our buyers of number 1, if you guys don't mind me announcing. And we have Jerry, who owns number 2 of the 1111 collection, and Stephen, who has number 3, was planning on making it, but he had another call he had to jump on, so he wanted to catch the next one. But anyways, I'm very blessed to have the support from you guys, and Martin is too. And I'll just have to speak for him a little bit. I don't know he's been quiet this week. You know, it was an honor to be working with him on this, just to kind of have a pal, you know, in the art war, because that's what it's been for me. I've been at war with art, and Martin has, you know, too, for even longer, perhaps. So it's just been. He told me just 2 days ago that he was just not feeling well still. It was hard for him to look at his screen. So I was a little bit, to be honest, I was a little bit teared up yesterday. I shared a video in our Soul community thread of just reflecting on what he's been through, what a lot of us have been through. Because for a lot of us, this has been our work. You know, we just decided to commit fully to just being in the war, right? Even though we're not a Marine, we're not in the Army, but we're at war, and some of us have had to, you know, just kind of step into that faith and act upon our calling, I guess. So Martin's certainly one of those who I'm just so appreciative of. The light in the darkness. What he offered to me was this, you know, as somebody who used to read, like, you know, occasional long New Yorker reads or New York Times. Martin was the intellectual who was like actually right in a sense. And it just helped so much to digest what was happening. And so when you're in company with Martin, you know, at a thought level, it's very reassuring, I think, for a lot of people. So that's why we are here. So did anyone else want to speak up or have a question or say anything about, you know, what brought them here?
I did want to mention that a few of us were having trouble logging on because there wasn't a link on the Mighty Networks account. Like, there was no link for us to click on to get into the. So I know Robert and Rainier. Yeah, they were trying to get in, and I don't know what happened.
They're in now. Thank you, Corinne. I saw your message. I added the link again in those threads, and I don't know what was going on there. Okay. I think that it said Zoom link in there. I thought it should have been a Zoom link.
Oh, no worries.
But okay, glad you guys made it. Stacy, how did you find us?
Hey, I'm a good friend of Martin's, and I get his newsletter. So I knew about this. He speaks very highly of you, Matthew. He's really thrilled to work with you. And yeah, I don't know anything about NFTs. Don't know anything about crypto, don't know anything about any of it. So I'm kind of having to, I've got a big learning curve here. So I just wanted to be quiet and listen.
Well, thank you for being here. I do appreciate all you souls for tuning in. I could ask Reiner how he got here too, if he wants to say anything. It's not mandatory. Reiner or Robert, if either of you guys want to share what brought you here today.
Aloha, everybody. This is Robert. So I'm over in the pond called the Pacific Ocean. And how I got here was convoluted, to say the least, but through a Zoom chat that Martin did with Charlie Ward, and there's somebody else Martin works with. I mean, that was a long time ago. And then I got Martin's book, Open for Change, and then signed up, loving all of his newsletters, and just this led me to here, and I think it's cool. And I want to thank Matthew for all those stuff you did to help explain how to get into Soul, because I'm kind of where Stacy is. I know nothing about crypto and have been having fun, kind of learning that and bringing my awareness up. I'm still more a bullion type of person, but nevertheless, it's just a joy to be here to see your faces. Next time, I don't have my hair done up. I didn't know this was going to be a video Zoom call. So next time, but I'll set it up that way.
Right on. Thanks for being here.
Greetings, everybody, and blessings.
Thank you. I was going to comment. I didn't realize Martin had done a Zoom with Charlie Ward. I haven't seen that one. I guess it must be pretty old. But I'll just say this, since we have a couple new, people new to NFTs, new to crypto. I mean, that's frankly the world still. I just wanted to comment a little bit about maybe what an NFT is, or what it represents to me, where it's going a little bit. But just to compare it to Bitcoin for a moment, which is our the leading cryptocurrency, rough about half of the whole cryptocurrency market at the moment. It's the main thing to know about Bitcoin is the limited supply, right? The hard supply at 21 million. That's really the number one thing. So really then the question is, what is the demand going to be? Because it's, typically in a market, you have a two-sided equation, supply and demand. But here we have a fixed supply with Bitcoin, right? And that's quite a contrast to the infinite printing of Federal Reserve notes, which are not federal and not a reserve for us, right? So in a similar way, these NFTs are digital assets that are on the blockchain. In this case, they're hyper low supply, right? Only 11. I've never even seen a collection with only 11 before, or anything close to that. So it's kind of the same principle at work. So, it's kind of the question is how much demand will be on owning an 1111 NFT, for example, right? And it's an asset that people are able to trade or exchange, sell, whatever, if they need liquidity. But so I don't know if that makes sense. It's kind of I appreciate you guys being in, and we don't know how valuable these things could be, but Martin and I are working on adding as much meaning as possible. And I've just been absolutely captured by really what an NFT is, because it is kind of the perfect medium for art. It is the probably most abstract thing that exists. I like to define it as a digital container that you can put anything into. A digital container you can put anything into. So as a guy who likes to make art and abstract things, and it's just like, wow, what are the possibilities with a digital container you can put anything into? So it's quickly becoming the vehicle for intellectual property, for art. I mean, I do believe it is the already becoming a way in which artists are measured. Beeple made huge news earlier this year selling the almost $70 million JPEG file, his NFT. So that was huge news in the art world. He quickly became the number 3 most valued artist on the planet with that sale. And he just made news again earlier this week. I haven't had time to tune into it, but I want to start catching up with Beeple. So anyways, yeah, can't let people have all the fun making millions in the new art market. So I think making censorship history hopefully will come to be seen as something quite valuable.
And Matt, the ones you made, is there a place to see the ones? I thought I saw like ones that are upcoming, or you've done 4, 5, and 6 or whatever. Where were those?
I'll drop the
I have them on the website. To me, what's interesting,
and they're on Algorand. So I just put the spot on soulforms.com in the chat here. If you guys would like to pull them up, they're all listed there now, all 11 of them together. So.
Oh wow! Okay.
Or actually, I take that back. Really cool. I have not revealed number 11. I should mention. I did one for that, just like the others, and I kind of wanted to come back to it. It's a lot of pressure because at the current trajectory, number 10 will be the most valuable NFT on the Algorand blockchain. When we sell that, it would top the. I don't know if you guys saw the post, but the current record on Algorand is 111,111.11 algos is the top sale, and the guy who bought it is the managing partner at Borderless Capital, which I believe is based in Florida. And in his Twitter profile, he has an 1111 in there. So I'll be reaching out to him as a potential buyer. I thought he might want to keep the record for owning the most expensive NFT on Algorand. And I figured he might want number 10 or 11. So my plan at the moment, for you, just so you guys know, is to drop number 11 on the 22nd, on 11/22. So we'll see if we can I'll make history by then. I don't know. This is all in divine timing. I'll share one other thing with you guys that maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. I was given a particular date by a woman who channeled some information to me directly in person at a wine tasting event. And I told her about our goal to do $1 million book, and she gave me a date. And it's early. I'll just tell you this: it's early next year is the date in 2022. So in terms of, and it seemed to be, and she didn't know much about this, but she just some kind of energy worker. She gave me a date. So certainly gave me some confidence that we will succeed in this. So yeah. Can I answer? Does anyone else have any other questions? I don't want to steal the mic. I don't want to hog the mic.
Now, you had mentioned, I don't know if it was where it was exactly or what, but maybe branching out, doing some other artwork or some other kind of Great Awakening theme type items, which I thought is really cool. I'm anxious to see the other ones. It was funny because I wanted to buy as soon as I could. And then I kind of then I saw the next one, number 3, I think. And that one was awesome. I go, hey, I like that token. So I want to go look at the other ones. I'm not totally against, I'm not ruling out buying 2. If it goes the distance, I think we'll be pretty happy we did. And, but I think, as the numbers increase, sooner is better than later. So that was what was funny for me, was this chase to try to get on board, which I shared earlier, trying to get the whole up to speed. Stacy, like you mentioned, know nothing about it. I knew nothing. I'm in the mortgage business, finance business, but that's a whole nother world. And it's a whole nother the generation gap and all that, but I'm really trying to learn and all that because I really think that's the future. But it was funny. But it's just exciting. And I think this is a perfect vehicle. And I think it's going to turn some heads, and then people can just start to figure out what's really going on in the world. And to me, that's really exciting. So it's great to be a part of it, I think.
Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, there will be more art on the Great Awakening. Honestly, and I almost wanted to bring it to a vote with you guys about what to do, because I was trying to, Martin's idea for this was so simple.
Right.
I kept trying to add to it because I want to frankly drop some more NFTs that are a little bit more accessible to more people, because I know we're already out of so many people's price range. But at the moment, I just needed to keep it really simple. I was kind of planning on maybe adding a few more prints. I don't know. I thought it was reasonable to have prints where I could use the same artwork that's inside of these NFTs that you guys have, but to just kind of bring it out of the card, just to give it a slightly different visual treatment. And I thought I would drop maybe 10 each of each of these pieces. So that's kind of the plan.
In the future, if we go the distance with the 11, then anything you did after would be like a celebration of that. So then there's, rather than, because I could see kind of the mixed feelings of diluting the momentum now, or you know what I mean? But the fact of this brainchild or brainstorm of creating this and doing it exponentially, achieving that goal would just be an amazing feat. And then that's something that will draw a whole new set of eyes to it. And then also, that's something to celebrate. So then that would open up more around it, which would pay tribute to it as opposed to steal from the momentum. So
that's a great way to put it.
Good insight. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. I agree. So I think I'm glad I withheld for now. Because last week I was just furiously making art. I was trying new things. I was and I had to tell myself, I was like, okay, it's not about making art anymore for now. Just, you got to get the word out. You got to focus on community building and helping people know that it exists. So I had to kind of go pencils down on art making for a little bit. Yeah, thank you for that. I think I agree. Maybe we can even, who knows how soon we can celebrate, possibly as soon as 11 days from now, but it might be a little further out. Who knows? Superman. Is there anyone else in here who had any questions or wanted to say anything? I know.
Sure.
You got another passage there?
Yeah, I've got, I've opened up the book a passage. I'm going to read a passage now. I just, blindly opened up the book, and it just, hey, there's Robert. Aloha, brother. There you go. I opened up, of course, to page 11, which was a chapter called, he says, he wrote back in October 21st, 2017, why I am optimistic about the future. And I loved, like, wow, what is, because, Martin's been banned from every platform you can imagine for speaking truth to what's going on in our world. And you would think this guy's really optimistic about the future. And you read this chapter and you go, yeah, he is. And this is the part, these last few paragraphs here. He says, my hypothesis is that the turmoil we're all currently witness are the death throes of an information flow management system that is so long-standing and embedded in society we can barely perceive it. The cost of maintaining the, quote, intentional knowledge compartments, end quote, is rising so fast that they're bursting in front of our eyes. While we may pass through a time of trauma, which we are, there is a hope of a golden age at the far side once we fixed the wreckage left by pathocracy. Orwell warned in 1948 of 1984. But 1984, the birth year of Matthew, the graduating year of Jerry. But 1984 is just a point in time. It's not necessarily a boot stomping forever if it contradicts the fundamental forces of energy and flow of the universe. Conversely, Huxley posited a future where we are all far too comfortable to care about manipulation and enslavement. That also is unlikely as a long-term outcome, since humans naturally seek freedom and flourishing. I feel increasingly positive no matter how much fear the daily news brings. While today's internet may be fragile, frustrating, and prone to mass surveillance, it is, on balance, doing us all great good. Here we are in the interwebs, connecting, bringing illumination, bringing community together. There is good here. Furthermore, some of us are dreaming of a far better information infrastructure. Web3, that's a whole conversation Matthew will be illuminating the world on. It is possible, I suggest, to relate morals to mathematics and to create something that is ethical by design. Indeed, for the world of sensors and artificial intelligence, it's mandatory to do much better. In the digital information world, we are God, and it's our job to capture and cage the devil. So far, we normal humans are turning the tide on the psychopaths. There's only one conspiracy against love, and if we reject fear and stay unified, it can be defeated permanently.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So powerful. It's almost like you can see the encroachment of everything being more and more sequestered, more and more squeezed. And it's like the more it's squeezed, the closer we are. As you're reading that, I can see why his hope was like, firmly anchored on that, because that's the truth. It's like the darker it gets, the closer we are to bursting through with the light.
Yeah.
Like in truth, and anchoring it, not just as an idea, but as an actual reality that we co-create together. It's powerful.
He said a term that I'd never heard of. I read the foreword by Robert, and a term that, he mentions in the book, that ponerology, is that right? Ponerology, which is the study of evil and its underlying psychopathy. There's many
psychology of evil, yeah.
There's many in the in certain spiritual circles that says, well, don't look at evil. Evil doesn't exist. It's just the absence of light. Darkness isn't real, and all this. It's the devil's greatest trick is to act like I don't exist. To sit there and don't see this, don't look at this, and in ourselves as well. You know what I mean? We always go to our own inner work. We can't be free until we're free internally. But it's that place of understanding the psychology of evil and the psychology of psychopaths and sociopaths, and understanding that, and to spot it, and to cage it, as he says, see it, know God's going to win. The divine power, the divine love, the divine essence of what we are as a sovereign human planet, claiming our sovereignty. I think that's the hope of glory that he talks about in there, that I took to heart to that.
Totally. I love that he said on the internet that we are each God. That's, I mean, we're the fractal of God, making the choices to claim our part.
Which is
of
what
whatever we put
1111
out in the world.
truly, before we, everybody was here, it was like, what does 1111? It meant when I started seeing it everywhere, and it was right after I started meditating really deeply, and it started going deeper into the stillness of silence, and I found the divine in the own room. I didn't find it in the temple or in the church. It was just like it was in my own bedroom with some incense going and some sounds. And I was like, I cried the first time I meditated, and then I started seeing 1111 everywhere. It was like, oh, okay, what are you trying to say here? And it was to really wake up and remember that I am that I am. We are that I am. We don't have to externalize our power to these power structures out here. We claim our divinity, and we can create a world that works for everyone and not just for a few.
Amen to that, brother. Thank you.
Well said.
Beautiful.
It's much, I saw a video, it made me think of it not long ago, and whether it was Twitter or Gab or well, probably Gab, but they, it was about just what's going on in that compression and things, that feeling. And they made the analogy of a chess game, and it's like good versus evil. And it's like, it's a chess game, and good's going to win, and evil knows we're going to win. It's like you reach a point in a chess game where the person knows he's going to lose, but you still have to play the game. You still have to make the move. So now we're just witnessing the final moves until the game's over. But if ever, your opponent knows to make the right moves, and it's just a matter of time. You just have to play out the game. And it was, to me, it really resonated of like everything that we're seeing. It's like, why can't we just, politically, all the corruption, why doesn't it just, they're guilty, but it's like, you have to play the game out, and there's stall tactics and the whole pandemic thing. And then everything is just a card to play, or a chess piece to move. And the end's already set. It's just, we just have to witness. Unfortunately, it's excruciating, but you have to witness the steps, witness the game, and let it play to its fruition. And hopefully we get to checkmate and can see that happen.
Yeah,
Well said, Jerry.
Bingo.
Yeah.
It made me think it's kind of like a it's very much art of war, of course, as people like to say. And it's like you have this enormous beast that's just so deeply embedded. We kind of have to use its own momentum against itself. So it just continues to get more and more exposed, more and more souls waking up every day. And yeah, this is really the only way. It's not a force that you can just push over, right? We really have to let this thing just bury itself into the ground and collapse, the house of cards that it is. And I feel very optimistic at this moment in 11/11/2021. Guys, I don't have any contact with the Q team or anything like that, but certainly I feel a connection on a quantum level as I engage with the idea of what quantum is. Pertaining to the numbers we've been talking about, I mean, my birthday is 9/11. We already talked about the 2 and the 9, and it's just in 1984. It's just like, what is going on? And then with all the 11/11s that we're seeing, it's like I just kind of associate it with being okay. There's something quantum happening here. Part of our reality. I don't fully understand our reality yet, or not in my conscious mind, but so many incredible synchronicities. It's like that synchronicity is like these are our signs from God that we're going in the right direction. I'll just state that for the call. That's my understanding of what 11/11 means. It means keep going. So in August, I had to take a break from to leave my family. I needed to get away from my wife and my kids, mostly for just enough time to work, because we were living in a tiny house. And so I flew up to my parents' place up in Idaho, and I needed to focus on work. And I was like, and I had some choices, but I was like, I got to do this art for 11/11. And that's when I was, experiencing all this synchronicity, seeing the numbers as I'm thinking about Martin and doing this with him. So I was like, that's what it is. You just got to go And that's what it meant to me. And that's, part of what brought us here today was just seeing the signs and and trusting them, I guess. So.
Thank you for taking the action, Matthew, because sometimes we see the signs and we don't take the action and we miss those opportunities. Sometimes those windows of synchronicity, they open up and they reveal, you get the whispers and the promptings, but sometimes we don't take those actions. Fear or lack of self acceptance of who Heather and I talk about, we're tiptoeing, we're just playing in the garden, but it's that place we don't necessarily know how it all maps out. But if we take those divinely guided action steps with clarity and certainty, and it's okay if we make a mistake, it's okay. We don't have to be perfect, but when you follow those promptings and take that divinely guided action, when the divine's speaking to you in synchronicity, is so essential, because there's been missed opportunities at times. Your intuition is like, you know what? I did get those whispers. I did get those signs. I did see that happen, and I didn't take that action. And
one thing that I think is really coming up for us, because there's so much information on any given day that's coming at us, where it's like there's so many little rabbit holes you can go down, or conversations or engagements. And I think one of the things I'm finding in my own journey these last couple of weeks in particular is that the more quiet I get, the more obvious it is what is mine to do and what is not mine to do. What conversations really move the ball forward? Which ones are the ones that keep me in anxiety and spinning the wheels, trying to find an answer as opposed to being divinely guided? And, just to what you guys were sharing earlier, there's a quote somebody said, I can't remember what book we were reading, but it just said essentially that evil has within it innately its own destruction, the seed of its own destruction programmed, and it's inevitable. And I love what you said, Jerry.
Michael Sarian is his name, who said that in a talk. Michael Sarian.
Powerful. And just, the value of being in community to remind each other that we're riding the waves of something that's already happened. We know that the outcome and the destruction and the rising, the phoenix rising from the ashes of the destruction, is inevitable for not only the collective, but for each one of us to understand who we are and why we're here at this time. So.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you for the reminder. I know we all probably get filled with angst at times. I mean, I'm banging on a war drum. I did a podcast episode yesterday. Some of you heard it. I could share it again or whatever, but it's, I don't know. I'm banging on a war drum, and I don't know, maybe it's just me playing my role, but it feels like it has to happen, even if we have an internal knowing that we're going to win in the end. We still need to rise together. That has to happen, right? We need more. We need to rise together, and that's kind of, this is all about sovereignty, right? So it's nothing anyone can gift upon us. We just have to take it.
Right.
We just have to take it. So Martin and I need to find business models that work for us, right? So we have to go find them and take it. And I think, so that's what we're doing. And it feels good to step into sovereignty. We just have so much. I know we all have so much programs that have been put into us, not all of which we've cleared, perhaps, that are part of the same-o matrix, right? So I get a little triggered by when I see some same-o things. Or even this obviously is, I'll just repeat, I don't know if we said it already, but this is a war. We're all in it. It's not just veterans, people who are in the US military or whoever in this war. We're all in this war. So thank you guys for being in the war. And, hopefully everyone soon realizes we're at war and we can all be in it together, united against the parasitic ones. So at least for the show's purposes, maybe they're already gone, but for the show, we need to rise together.
Thank you, brother.
Cool.
Well, it is almost the 1 hour mark. I'm sorry that Martin didn't come to Matthew, Martin, and friends. I'm deeply appreciative to all the friends that joined. I'll try to get Martin another one. He may have just needed some rest. I saw that he said he would be here on his Telegram, but I know he's weary from battle. So just say a prayer for Martin when you get off.
Martin, he's really not feeling well.
Yeah. Okay.
He had gone back to his place in London, and he hasn't even returned home because he's feeling so poorly. So that's what's going on with him.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm feeling for him big time, and just want to get some relief. I mean, I can relate obviously to this, just the feeling of like not being able to stop because you know, I haven't had a paycheck for a long time, right? Just you get cut off from things, and it's just draining. You don't feel like you can stop. So I feel for Martin, and we should end this before I start crying. And thank you for tuning in, Stacy, with that.
Thank you, Matthew, for your heart, brother. Just, there is that compassion throughout this, this silent war. There is a covert silent war that's been happening, and to feel the heart, of those that are suffering in any capacity, economically, health-wise, community-wise, family-wise. Prayers for us all as we move forward. Anytime this 11/11, this is a high holy day in my heart, in our home, because it's really all it really is just stand in your own mighty presence, that divine essence of what you are, and stand in your sovereignty. Let no one take that away from you. That's what this country was founded upon, and that's what happens here in this great nation impacts whatever happens out there. So let's remember that. And thank you, Matthew, for holding this together and
calling us in.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it a lot, all of you being here. Yeah, with that said, I will, I'm going to try to get Martin online some point soon when he's feeling better. So I'm going to tentatively say the 22nd for now. I like that 11/22 number a lot. And we'll see where the world is in just 11 days. I do plan to drop the 11th NFT in the series on that day. I'm going to give myself a chance to just make sure it's as good, where it needs to be. And yeah, because I want to make history with that one if we can. And with number 10, of course. So hopefully we have some baddies on the run. Do you guys think we have baddies on the run yet? I got Gates and Fauci number 10. Baddies on the run. So
Matthew, on that, and I just looked at that one quickly. Obviously, it's Bill Gates is the one character. Who's the other character?
Fauci. We had Fauci. It's like not even probably my very best drawing, but it's hard to
okay.
But I got his eyes bulging out with the my signature snake character in the background with him, and then a mob about to chase them down. Yeah. I kind of think we're pretty much there. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know if those two baddies are. I feel like Bill Gates at least has been swapped out. It's kind of my feeling, to be honest. I think there might be an actor with a mask. Is my feeling on that one. So maybe he's already gone. I don't know. Hopefully we find out soon.
I'm a public school teacher. The baddies that we need to get are the local baddies. They're the ones that we've got to get on the run.
Amen, sister. The local baddies, like local politicians.
I was a public school teacher. I'm not anymore.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Spot on.
Yeah.
That's where we step up.
We do have to get the baddies on the run, guys. I think part of flipping the tables here is, and this is a difficult point because we want to be loving, but we also have to not be the ones who are being mocked anymore. And we need to flip that a little bit. Right. So I think a little bit of classy mocking is in order. We do need to kind of poke and prod the people who are asleep, and they're the ass end of the joke at this point. They truly are. And that's the reality. That's the reality we're in. It's not us being mean, but that's the reality. We have to poke and prod and do whatever we can to wake people up. So have as much class as you can. That's the part of the art war, right? How do you give somebody a finger without giving them a finger, or whatever? How do you give it to them in love? So that's the challenge, but we got to wake these people up. or who knows? Yeah, wake up is, as I said in my podcast, I'm not sure that wake up asleep verbiage is entirely accurate, because some of these people are taken over by the inorganic ones, let's say. So should we end it there, guys? Because I want to post this.
Yeah,
so that would be
I
a
think
little
we-
bit distinct. Thank you all for being here.
Wrap.
We'll catch you guys next time. Pray for Martin. We'll get him on live. And thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Very cool.
Bye.
Aloha.
Yes.
All right. Take care.